It is a lot of mixed emotions, and among those 6 hostages returning on Saturday are Vera Mengistu, who has been there since 2014 when he went into the Gaza Strip. According presumably by his own volition, he is said to have mental health issues. And so he has been there for over 10 years, Emily, and he will be returning tomorrow. And also Hisham al-Sayed, who has been there since 2015, who also is said to have mental health issues, a Bedouin from Israel who also went into Gaza, who has been there also now for 10 years. And after that, there are also the 4 other hostages that were taken on the 7th of October, Omer Shem Tov, Omer Wenkert, Elia Cohen, and Tal Shoam. So there really is a wide range of emotions, really a roller coaster. Some families feeling relieved, other families terrified to find out what news they will be getting tomorrow or in the next few days about who the dead hostages are going to be, Emily.
Of course, and you know, the conditions of the hostages who are alive has also been an emotional roller coaster as we've seen. All right, thank you very much, I-24 News correspondent Emmanuel Onara. And now it's only been less than a week since Yair Horn was released from captivity, and he did speak to I-24 News' Hebrew channel about his ordeal.
חלק ממני הוא עזה. עדיין חלק מהגוף שלי הוא בעזה עדיין. חלק מהלב שלי. חלק מהלב שלי הוא בעזה עדיין. ואני צריך אתכם כמו שהייתם עד עכשיו, אבל עוד יותר חזק. אני מרגיש את החיבוק של עם ישראל. זה לא רק משהו פרטני. אני מרגיש את התמיכה ואני מבקש מכולם להמשיך עד הסוף. עד שאחרון יחזור הביתה.
And be sure to catch the full interview, which will air on The Rundown with Benita Levin this evening at 8:30 p.m. Israel time, 1:30 p.m. New York time, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. Turning to Egypt, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is set to visit Riyadh to discuss an Arab-led proposal countering U.S. President Trump's controversial plan for Gaza. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and the UAE, as well as Qatar, will review the proposal before presenting it at a summit in Cairo next month. Here's more from Alex Schloss.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is expected to visit Riyadh on Thursday as part of an Arab-led diplomatic effort to present a counter-proposal to U.S. President Donald Trump's controversial plan to depopulate the Gaza Strip and transfer control of it to the United States.
After 25 years, why should I change my position? For 25 years, I've said no to displacement of Palestinians, no to the resettlement of Palestinians, and no to an alternative homeland. Unfortunately, they don't understand or can't understand. Let me reiterate our firm position: no to displacement in Gaza and the West Bank, and we urge the reconstruction of Gaza without displacement.
Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, the UAE, and Qatar are set to review the Egyptian proposal in Riyadh before formally presenting it to an Arab summit in Cairo on March 4th. The Arab initiative could involve up to $20 billion raised from across the region for the reconstruction of Gaza. While the exact details remain private, Egyptian state media has suggested that the plan would involve relocating Palestinians to secure areas within the Gaza Strip, while Egypt and its partners work to rebuild the devastated enclave through a 3-phase process lasting 5 years. Reports indicate that the Arab plan would establish a Palestinian administration, excluding both the Palestinian Authority and Hamas, a non-starter for Hamas.
The occupation's condition of removing Hamas from the Gaza Strip is a ridiculous psychological war, and the withdrawal or disarmament of the resistance from Gaza is unacceptable.
The United States has shown increasing receptiveness to the Arab counterproposal to Trump's plan. However, as momentum builds and the final details are worked out, it will ultimately be up to Israel and Hamas to decide whether to allow the implementation of the proposal.
Meanwhile, the Emir of Qatar has arrived in Iran for an official visit. While the purpose of his trip remains unclear, some believe Qatar's role as a regional mediator may position it to ferry messages between Iran and the U.S. or even potentially mediate direct talks. We're now going live again to Florida, joined by Eric Mandel, founder and director of Middle East Political Information Network and senior editor for security for the Jerusalem Report. So President Trump, Iran expressing willingness to speak, but under certain conditions. Can you explain more on what those are and how Qatar may help ameliorate this divide?
So the Qataris are a frenemy to the United States. To my mind and to many people, and actually the historical record of Secretary of State Rubio and many others in the Senate, they've been a little duplicitous, hosting so many different terrorist groups and having such close relations with Iran. So the Qataris, just like they're acting as an intermediary, both they were a funder and supporter of Hamas and are the intermediary in dealing with Hamas, they can be the intermediary in dealing with the Islamic Republic of Iran. And that's how they see themselves. When I was in Doha, that's how they viewed themselves. It's not a really healthy relationship for the United States to have there. So is that visit there a prelude to begin negotiations? Again, it is hopefully that the President Trump, will not be fooled and they stretch out negotiations so they can quietly have a dash to a nuclear weapon. This is a leopard that will not change its spots. And I think this is a time for the administration to basically give them a deadline, put in the maximum sanctions on everything that goes out from Iran, make the Riyadh fall, make their economy fall, deal from a position of strength, and basically say, if you don't give up your right to enrich your uranium, no nuclear power was ever given that in the last few years, except for the terrorist state of Iran, then we are going to open all possibilities. That's the only thing Iran is going to listen to, the possibility of regime change. And we should also change our rhetoric about it, that we are supportive of Iran, we're supportive of the Iranian people. And those are the things that will pressure them because they are at a point of weakness. This is a golden opportunity. And again, people who think you can turn this into a regional war with more kinetic actions misunderstand the Middle East. And again, it's the threats of what was done. And Trump is unpredictable. He's the one who hit Soleimani. He is not like the Biden, Blinken world where they knew they would not take any risks. So he should use that to his advantage. And hopefully Secretary of State Rubio, who strongly believes that Iran is a menace to the whole region and the primary source, does have his ear. I think Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, does believe that also. But we'll see who has the president's ear. We hope it's not the Tucker Carlson group that is listening, that the president is listening to.
Right. Iran, has said, yes, they say a lot of things, but they said they're preparing to attack Israel again. The question is, as we're saying, Trump is unpredictable with him, being in the top chair in the United States. Do you think Iran would reconsider this plan or stop saying things that extreme?
First of all, I don't think Iran wants to attack Israel again because their air defenses are mobilized, and it gives Israel an excuse to go and actually do the job. Israel right now, if it attacks, there's been a, if you will, it's not the right word, a tit for tat. But if Israel goes now and preemptively strikes Iranian nuclear facilities or economic facilities like Karg Island or Bandar Abbas, the oil facilities and the container ports or anything like that, it will be condemned in the world. So they have to coordinate that with the United States, and they also have to coordinate it whether Israel's capable. I think the president at this point should do another thing besides maximum sanctions. I think he should transfer bunker-busting missiles, the Moabs, and the means to deliver them, and begin training Israeli pilots on how to use them, B-52s or B-2s to deliver them, because Israel cannot deliver those massive ordinances. And again, all of these things are for leverage if he really wants a deal. But again, I'm not optimistic about Iran. I think Iran is not going to give up its Islamic Republic. It's looking to how it can reconstitute and buy time to restart its proxy network. And they're everywhere again. They want to be from Iraq back to Lebanon. But listen, they may going to be able to support Hezbollah again. There are reports that there are other countries in the region that are going to facilitate, including possibly the Syrians or the Turks, facilitating Iran supporting Hezbollah, even now that it has turned into a Sunni Islamist state, because they all share the same interest against Israel. The destruction of Israel brings Sunni and Shiites together who normally wouldn't work together for the greater goal of destroying the Jewish state.
Wow, quite a heavy thought. All right, thank you very much, Eric Mandel, founder, director of Middle East Political Information Network and senior editor for security at the Jerusalem Report. Much appreciated, as always.